Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show today, the podcast Messages from Heaven with the medium Bonnie Page. Today's show is all about spirit communication, what evidence you can ask for, what evidence the client can expect, can they ask specific questions, and what is the most important part of a reading. So thank you for joining me. And I'm just going to show you my process. And I hope this makes sense to you, whether you are the medium or whether you're the person thinking to come for a reading. What can you expect during a reading, during a spirit communication session, right? That's what it is, spirit communication. So what evidence? Let's talk about what evidence you can ask for when you're coming for a reading. What can you expect? Or if you're a medium, I'll show you a little trick. I have a whole list of things that I can ask that just kind of says, oh yeah, I might read it even before I do a reading. So we're going to go with the mediumship side first. So as a medium, when I am about to do a reading, I have a scheduled reading. I come into my office, I light a candle, I spray a little angel spray, and I say my prayers, right? Because this is spirit communication. I don't do anything without God, Jesus, and the angels blessing the reading. I also think that makes everyone in the spiritual world feel a little better and get to know me during that time. So I say my prayers because that's really about opening up. That's just my way of opening up. I run my chakras. I can feel my energy centers within me opening. And I'm just kind of making myself aware of the spirit world. So I'm opening myself up. And before the client comes on, I do have a list, and I just say to everyone in the spirit world, give me the information that is important to you, but I do need some evidence. So your mom, your dad, your child, they don't mind me saying, please give me some evidence so that I can give my sitter, my client, some evidence of who is coming through for them. So evidence can be a name, a nickname. Yesterday I got a really cute nickname. What mattered to them here in their life? What was their specialty? What did they do for work? And you can ask, like, show me what you did, and I'll hear old sayings sometimes, like, I was a jack of all trades, right? Show me, I say, show me how you lived, what was special to you? Do you have a regret? Was there grandchildren born since you passed? Did your kids go to college? Like, there's so many things that you can ask. And when you're blending, you can say, show me your personality. Was the person on the other side funny? Were they kind of like, not really? Because some who have come down, they're like, I'm not sure about the spirit communication stuff. And I just say to them, I'm a nice lady that you would like to have a cup of tea with. And that's true. I do that. So you can ask them evidence like, how did you pass? What age were you when you passed? My dad was a sailor, so I have a lot of spirit communication with people coming in and showing me, when they were 18 and then they were in the Army or the Navy. And they'll tell me I was of service, which being a medium is as well being of service. So sometimes I'll ask them, hey, show me your house. Like, bring me inside the house you lived in. Like, was there stairs? Did you have wallpaper? Like, you can take one piece of evidence and stretch it out by talking to the person in the spiritual world. So sometimes I'm like, how did you grow up? Did you live in a city? Was you out in the country? One lady the other day showed me chickens, and I'm like, I don't want to say chickens. I don't know where this goes. And the sitter, my client said, oh, yes, my neighbors had these chickens that used to come into my yard. So, you know, give what you get. It might not seem like great evidence to you, but it will mean something to the person that you're giving a reading to. So another thing that I ask in the spirit world is there a birthday? Did somebody graduate? Were there babies born? Who do you want to acknowledge down here? Who do you want to acknowledge? And what beautiful celebrations do you want to acknowledge? And then I'll move on, like, what did you do here? Like today I was given a reading and I was shown a motorcycle twice. And so I love that. And you just stick your neck out there. I'm seeing a motorcycle. And the young lady said, yeah, I ride a motorcycle. So what was that? That was like her mom and dad saying, oh yeah, we see you riding your motorcycle. So another neat thing that you can ask someone in the spirit world, the medium, right? What are you doing in heaven? Do you have a job there? Because there are jobs in heaven. People become counselors, and my uncle shows me that he was high up in the army, and that there was a special room in heaven where newly incoming soldiers, of course, that have passed, he brings them into a special room in heaven and is counseling them and puts them with all the other soldiers so that they feel secure and safe, right? So what are you doing in heaven? Sometimes they show me they're skiing, and that's what they liked here. Some are golfing. They give me all kinds of scenes. Oh, I can go on a cruise now. I worked hard my whole life, never got to go on one. And heaven, you can go on a cruise. So what are they doing in heaven? Who are they with? I love it when one person from heaven will say, hey, I'm with, Aunt Gladys, or this person or that person, and we're doing this, and we're sitting around. We used to like to crochet together. Like, what are you doing? What is their version of heaven? You can ask them that as a medium. And really, let them tell a story. Let them tell a story. And so that comes to the part of this show. That's evidence. That's all evidence. And I don't get a name every time. I get a name sometimes. I get a name when I need a name. Yesterday, I actually asked, can you give me a name? And they gave me a nickname. And I'm like, well, thank you. That was good. The lady had a big smile on her face. So you can ask the spirit world, your beautiful person from heaven coming to blend with you. Because why? Because you are their voice. You are their voice for a short time that they can get a message to their loved one. So on the flip side of that, we talk about when your client comes in and they want to know something specific, and if they don't get it, they're not going to believe it. It puts a lot of pressure on the medium, right? So what I do is I say, you know what? I'm going to give you everything your loved one in heaven talks about, and we'll see if they answered your question in the end. Because what happens when someone says, I need to know something specific? Our mind starts to work, our own minds. We get into our mind instead of being that open channel. So how do I feel about specific information? I love to give it, and sometimes I'll just say to my sitter that came in, let me ask. I'll tell you whatever your loved one's telling me. But the worst thing for a medium to do is to get in their own head about it, because your mind can give you 10 different scenarios. You don't want that. You want to keep that link. Now, that being said, your loved ones know what you want to talk about. But that brings me up to another point as well. Do they always want to talk about it? Because sometimes I have people coming in and they're really upset with someone else here on earth, and they want mom or dad or someone to be on their side. Did my person see that? You know, your loved ones are in heaven. And they're in heaven, and with that isn't a lot of judgment, right? So when we go to heaven, we have that life review. We also see everybody that's been in our lives, in our soul families, what roles they have played. So even though it looks maybe like somebody might have done something to someone here, they're like, oh, I know why that happened. And that could even be, that's another whole show for soul contracts. However, that happens sometimes. And so can I make a loved one talk about a situation that they don't want to talk about? No. And do I ask them to? No. But I always do feel like they get the message that needs to go out to the person by what they have asked me to say to them. And I think if every client that I had sat there and thought, oh yeah, they said that right off the bat. Like, they answered my question, and maybe in a little bit different or a softer way. So picture heaven. There's no judgment. There's no hate. There's them seeing why things happened the way they did. Okay. So just know, whether you're the medium and you're asking for evidence, which you can send up a thought. Oh, tell me your story. I'm here to listen, and I'm here to give evidence to your loved one. So, they want to know they're talking to their dad and not mine, right? When I go to a medium, I want to know, tell me about my dad. I want to know if you got my dad there. And I can tell you that when you do have that person, which if you're opening yourself up and you're becoming available, that person doesn't mind coming down. They want to get a message to their loved one. So I did just have a question on our reading today, and she said, so you really felt my parents up there? And I said, yeah, so well, they told you all of this information. And she said, because they really will be like, oh, I don't like psychic mediums. But let me tell you, when you get to heaven and you see me at least doing this work, I do this work with God, Jesus, and the angels. So my heart is in the right place. My intention is in the right place. It's not just about work or getting money or getting fame. It's about being of service to someone in the spiritual realm, and then helping someone that's here on earth, having that healing take place. Because I can tell you, when you're doing a reading and it's going beautifully and there are tears, there are healing tears. I do believe that everyone should get a mediumship reading, just so that it really shows you. Now remember, there's got to be some evidence in there, but so it shows you that there's no death. It's a beautiful thing when you realize there's no death. They have their same personalities. We're going to have our same personalities. I'm going to be up there talking away. And I want someone to describe me and my personality the way that I was here on earth, because that same personality is going to go up to heaven with me. So if your parents or your loved ones or your friends are like, oh no, we wouldn't have went and had my cards read, well, they get a little bit different view in heaven and why they're doing something, for what reason. So just know that. Spirit's having me to remind you that different mediums, right? There's a lot of mediums out there doing great work, great work. They're giving different evidence than I might be. And why is that? Because it's really about the medium being a person here on earth, and your experiences and that you've had your whole life come into play. If someone wants to show me they're walking through London, well, I walk through London. If somebody wants to show me they had a camp in the summer and their dad made them a homemade swing, I live that. So the more I experience, and this is for every medium, the more that you pay attention to everything is what the spirit world and can give you, and make your spirit communication even stronger. So it's not always fun to watch the news. It's not always, great to learn different things. I like learning different things, but everybody has what they like. So every medium is going to be different in that way. So if you have any questions, leave me a comment below. Follow along if you will have a question for this show or you'd like to learn something. Just put it in the comments, and I will reply to you, and I can see if I can do a video on that. So thank you all for being here. I love you all. Whether you're searching for everything spiritual, or you're seeking guidance, or you're becoming a medium, this is the place to be. Or you're a medium and you want to feel wanted, because I love having you all. So thank you guys, and have a beautiful day.